Hello again. Just a reminder that the videos I've made in this series reflect the IELTS levels 4 and 5. That is very basic functional and vocational English. For IELTS level 6+, watch my later series of videos. In an earlier video in this series, we looked at verb tense, simple, indefinite, some nouns and personal pronouns. Just to recap verbs, there are 12 verb tenses in Australian English, but essentially they can be sorted into 3 categories: past, as in yesterday, present, as in today, and future, as in tomorrow. The types of tenses are also repetitive: simple tense or indefinite, continuous, perfect, or perfect continuous. A reminder about nouns. A noun is the name of a person, place, or thing. There are 5 categories of nouns, but we're not doing that at IELTS level 4. See later IELTS levels 6+ videos. A reminder about pronouns. Pronouns are words that are definitely not nouns. They're words that stand in the place of a noun. We looked at the 12 personal pronouns, although there are other types of pronouns as well. Please note, to achieve success by the end of this series of videos, you should be able to use a minimum of 250 words written and spoken as conversational Australian English. This would deem you to be competent at a vocational level, equivalent of IELTS 5. The focus here must be on cohesion and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, fluency, pronunciation and response, and the use of varying levels of Australian English, slang, colloquial, informal, and formal, as the situations and topics of the conversations dictate. Generations and family relationships. Here we're going to be learning about family relationships. I'm going to present the relevant vocabulary, read it to you, and suggest that to learn this, you repeat it after me and tape your response. Listen to your tape and then try saying the words again until the conversation sounds okay. After you've learnt speaking, reading, and writing the vocabulary on this list, have a look at the family tree I developed that goes with this exercise. For your own practice, I would suggest that you try to answer some questions on relationships between various people listed. Great-grandparents, great-grandmother, great-grandfather. Great-great-aunt, great-great-uncle. Grandparents, grandmother, grandma, granny, nana. Grandfather, grandpa, granddad, pop, popper, pa. Grandchildren, granddaughter, grandson. Great-aunt, great-uncle. Fiancé, partner, couple, husband, wife, ex-husband, ex-wife, lady, man. In-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Parents, mother, mum, mummy, mama, father, dad, daddy, papa. Children, daughter, son, stepdaughter, stepson. Siblings, sister, brother, half-sister, half-brother. Nephew, niece, boy, girl. Aunt or aunt, auntie, uncle or uncle, cousin. Step-parents, stepmother, stepfather. Stepchildren, stepsister, stepbrother. Marital status, married, divorced, separated. Estranged, widowed, single. Husband, ex-husband, wife, ex-wife, partner, late husband, late wife. Adopted, fostered, relatives, relations. Born, birth, death, deceased, buried, funeral, commemoration. Family tree, migrated, And here is the family tree that I've developed. The key to the abbreviations is up here. So M's for married, B for born, D for died. We can see that Anna was born in 1920 in England and died in the year 2000 in Australia. Brian was born in 1920 in England and died in 1990 Australia, and that is Gen 1, which means generation 1. Anna and Brian had 2 children, Charles and Diana. Charles was born 1945 Australia, and he married Pamela, who was born in 1940 Australia. Diana was born in 1947 Australia, and she married George, who was born in 1946 Australia, and they are generation 2. Then Charles and Pamela had Faith and Gretel. Diana and George had Ian and Jennifer. Faith married Paul. Faith was born 1971. Paul was born 1970, both in Australia. Gretel was born in 1973 in Germany, and Stephen was born in 1972 in Tunisia. Ian was born in 1972 in Scotland. Sophia was born in 1974 in Bali. Jennifer was born in 1974 in Chad, and David was born in 1972 in Somalia. That is generation 3. Faith and Paul had 2 children, Christopher and Richard. Gretel and Stephen had 2 children, Terence and Michelle. Ian and Sophia had 2 children, Annabelle and Colin. And Jennifer and David had 2 children, Eve and Fred. They were generation 4. Christopher was born 1990 Australia, Richard born 1992 England, Terence born 1993 Egypt, Michelle born 1994 Egypt, Annabelle born 1992 Haiti, Colin born 1993 Hawaii, Eve born 1995 USA, and Fred born 1996 in Canada. You'll have to refer to this page when I go through the next exercises. Conversation theme. Discuss your family using the above vocabulary. Look at the diagram of a fictional family tree and using the vocabulary you've learned, try to answer the following questions. I've also given the answers below. You can check if you're struggling to understand the language that's being used. The first one is, what is the relationship between Pamela and Stephen? Well, Pamela is Stephen's mother-in-law, so he is her son-in-law. Who is the oldest couple? The oldest couple were Anna and Brian. They are both deceased. That means they've gone. Where were Charles and Pamela born, and who is the oldest? Charles and Pamela were both born in Australia. Pamela is the oldest by 5 years, as she was born in 1940 and Charles was born later in 1945. How many generations are shown here? There are 4 generations shown here. How many children do Diana and George have? What are their genders implied by their names given? Diana and George have 4 grandchildren. There are 2 boys, Colin and Fred, and 2 girls, Annabelle and Eve. With a partner, discuss the people and relationships depicted in this fictional family tree. So, in the entire family depicted in this diagram, there are 4 generations. There are 22 people altogether. Of these, 7 were born in Australia. The others were born across the world. A nice mix of ethnicities in this family. Please continue to watch the next videos, where you'll learn more conversational English and extend your knowledge and skills in Australian English in reading, writing, speaking, listening, and understanding. And can I ask you, if this content has been helpful, would you please subscribe to this channel? Many thanks, and hope you get to Australia one day.